All right, good afternoon, everybody. We're going to give it just another minute. We aren't scheduled to start for another couple minutes, but we'll give everybody a chance to get on and start enjoying. Don't forget to drop your comments and questions or your questions in the comment section. We'll definitely be addressing those as they come up and provide some answers for you. Exciting day today. We got Ian Voakes from Voakes Construction, but again, we'll give everybody just another minute to get on and get settled. Today we got Ian Voakes from Voakes Construction, but all right, cool. We will go ahead and get started. We already got some viewers. I am excited today to welcome Ian Voakes to the Winning Tactics live podcast on Tuesday, April 21st. It's the greatest day of the year because it is my birthday today. But it's not about me. It's about helping businesses out. Our goal with the Winning Tactics podcast is really to give back to the community, show the community, especially here in Southwest Florida and really all over the place, what small business owners are doing to help really push through in these challenging times. So I'm excited to have Ian Voakes, founder, owner, brain mastermind behind Voakes Construction here in the Fort Myers area. Ian, welcome to the show. Glad to have you on. Tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what your business is.
Well, I like to thank everybody for checking out the podcast, and I'd like to thank Adam for having me on. I'm a licensed general contractor. We're located in Southwest Florida, in South Fort Myers, so our territory is basically Naples to Fort Myers, and I've been a real estate entrepreneur for 16 years. So we're not just a construction business, we're also a real estate holding company, and we work a lot with HOAs and large developments, small developments. That's basically what we do.
Awesome. Yeah, it's interesting. So part of my business is working with roofers on the marketing, digital marketing, and SEO side of things. And it's interesting when we talk to them, a lot of them are busier than they were pre all this stuff going on. Has that been the case for you so far, or how is this all affecting your business?
So construction and renovation and real estate, it's on a 2 to 3 month lag from economic situations. So, and we're deemed essential workers in an essential business and industry. So things have not slowed down yet, but as the ripple effect happens, things will slow down, and it's expected.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's an interesting point you make there. Both my parents are in the real estate industry, so I've kind of grown up around it a little bit. So I would say I know enough to be dangerous, but I do understand that fact that anything that's happening in the economy now typically is felt down the road just a little bit. And so, but one of the things that people have been talking about challenges-wise, at least in my circles, has been they're concerned about the availability of materials maybe drying up. Have you experienced any challenges with that? What's your thoughts on that?
We have received quite a bit of challenges with their supply chain. So there's a lot of businesses up north that have completely shut down. There's still a lot of suppliers out there. You just have to look around more. So
Yeah.
spending the extra time in the office, which I've been trying to do, I just use my time to adjust and make things happen still. Because there is a lot of people, especially in southeast of the country, still a lot of businesses open. People are still willing to work. It's a little harder though.
Yeah, no, I think that's interesting. You're right. There are a lot of people that are still willing to work. I was reading an article the other day that said something like 70 or 80% of people don't even have $400 in the bank after paying all their bills. And so it's like a huge amount of people that just have to work to survive. And so I think there is a hungry workforce. But I think it's challenging in the same respects because everybody's afraid to be out in the world right now with caution. So how are you helping protect your crews through all of this as you guys stay working?
So in the construction industry, we have federal guidelines with OSHA. I'm originally from Chicago. I have a lot of contacts back there with OSHA lawyers. And they sent me, because they are actually clients of mine too. So they sent me disclosure sheets for all my vendors and employees and everybody to sign, saying that basically they have the option of not working.
Mm-hmm.
And when they take that option of not working, I cannot reprimand them in any way, and it can't affect our relationship. So they just sign off on the sheet, and then we also have, safety meetings, just like scaffolding meetings and hard helmet meetings. It's the same thing. I tell everybody to stay 6 feet away from each other, use hand sanitizer. In construction, we have a lot of masks. Just wear your mask. And I also try to not overload the job site. So we're at 50% capacity. So instead of stacking trades on top of trades, we're simply just loosening up the schedule and still getting things done, but not having people breathe on people. And that's basically all we have to do.
Yeah, no, that's good. I love the disclosure thing. I think that's from a company standpoint, I think that really shows a care for the people that are doing the work. And I think it's important for workers to protect themselves, but it's also important for companies, to protect themselves. And I think that a document like that is a great thing to build those protections on both sides of it. So I definitely commend you for putting something like that in place. It'd be interesting to see if other companies, especially companies that are much more public facing, right? Your retail, grocery stores, things like that, if they're doing the same kinds of things, which I'm not sure that they are, but I like it. I definitely commend you for that. So I wanted
You're already seeing a lot of lawsuits. Sorry about that, but you're already seeing a lot of lawsuits with Walmart.
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't protect themselves with this type of paperwork, but that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's an absolute ton of lawsuits that I think are going to come out of this. Healthcare workers in emergency responders obviously are really stuck at the front lines of this, and so I have massive respects on them, but in what they do. But at the same token, it's they have been forced into a risky situation, and so I wouldn't be surprised to see some challenges come out of that down the road in some of those other industries like that. So, but you're right. Simply putting something in place to protect everybody is really the the best thing you can do as a company owner. It shows a lot of trust to your team that you understand that they're putting themselves at risk. They understand that you as a business are putting yourself at risk by continuing to operate. And everybody understands what's expected out of each party. So I like that. I want to shift gears a little bit. You talked about how you're running your sites at 50% capacity. Is that extending or changing your timelines for your projects at this point?
Absolutely, it is, and that's part of the disclosure. So the disclosure, I call it a memo. So it's a COVID-19 memo, and it doesn't need to be signed by the clients, but they have to acknowledge that employees and vendors, including myself, we have the right to postpone schedules. And most people are happy with it. They don't have a problem because they understand what's going on. We could still keep the projects going. So they're grateful for that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that would be challenging because I know there, especially like this time of year, there's a lot of people, a lot of people are starting their construction projects. I'm not super abreast on down here, but I know in other parts of the country, this is a big hot time for starting construction projects. So other companies that are operating all over the place, I think, can definitely benefit from putting something like that in place and just building that understanding that timelines may be longer. Are you taking on new business right now, or are you guys just kind of floating on what you got going on?
We are always taking on new business. We have to stay in business. We always need new business. With that said, though, we're a business-to-business account-based corporation. So over the years of doing this, I've built up my core accounts, and what we're doing right now with our core accounts is we're doubling down with them. So I'm communicating with them. I'm calling them up. I'm saying, hey, is there anything we could help you with? I'm constantly reaching out to them. Our previous clients that are an account that we value highly, we're always in communication with them. How can we service you? What do you need help with? And that's kind of tapping people's, business, including myself, should be doing that regularly. That should be a habit of constantly keeping in the loop of your accounts. And then on top of that, you have to find new clients too. You can't just depend on your accounts. So we're really tapping into our accounts, and in between 4 accounts that we have, we do $1 million a year for, and it's actually gotten busier because our competition is already starting to go away. Yeah. They're staying in, they're sleeping. So they really need us to come through for them. Particularly, we work with property managers and community association managers and HOAs, kind of buildings, and the phone's just ringing off the hook. This is the busy time of the year for us, even in Southwest Florida, for condo, because the noise restrictions are lifted during season, which is typically November through the end of April. We can't work in those buildings because they're fully loaded and they don't want the noise. So right now is the busy time of year in that. One of the problems we're having is getting building permits. So that's a problem, but we do a ton of repair work. So the repair work is just, the work orders are just coming in like crazy. And I've seen no difference in that.
That's awesome. Yeah. 2 things I want to point out there. First, I want to go back to leveraging your current accounts, right? That is a super, super strong business strategy in general, whether it be times of crisis or times where everything is jamming along and working well for you. Those are the people that are going to take the least amount of time to sell new products to. They're also going to be your biggest cheerleaders when it comes to acquiring new business. So one of the things I always tell businesses to focus on: ask your new accounts if they know somebody, or ask your existing accounts if they know somebody that could benefit from your services and if they'd be willing to make an introduction. Just a really, really powerful, simple thing you can do. It's something I tie into the end of every one of my conversations with my clients. Hey, who do you know that's working on this? And, in that way, it's very nonchalant. I'm just asking for an introduction. I'm not asking them to, openly say, oh, you got to go do this business with this person. I just want them to introduce me formally, and then we can take the relationship from there. Just that formal introduction from somebody and somebody that they know really makes a difference. David Alto in the comments says referrals are a gold mine. Absolutely. So and the other thing I wanted to point out that I thought was interesting, is you talk about, the noise ordinance stuff and people, full buildings and things shifting, with everybody going home. Are you noticing the buildings being more full right now because of travel restrictions with people, or is it kind of business as usual in that space?
Well, what I noticed with the snowbirds is basically I started seeing it at the beginning of March and the middle of March. They all wanted to go back up north to be with their families. So the season ended a lot quicker than usual. So basically, we're not relying on that kind of work and that type of person that we usually service during season. I apologize. My computer turned off for a second. I had to turn my computer back on.
No worries, man. It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, for those of you that don't know, Fort Myers area is a huge snowbird tourist destination. Pretty much, I would say, the majority of our economy, the bucks come in from in what we call season, which is opposite of a lot of places in the world. That's November to that April time. We get a huge increase of traffic. We get all the snowbirds from up north come down and enjoy the warmth for the winter. So it's always interesting how we kind of operate on an opposite schedule of the rest of the world does. But it is a very pivotal time for us. And so season ending early, I've talked to some other restaurants and retail folks, and season ending early has had an impact on our economy because we rely on a lot of those bucks to come through, through about mid-April usually. So, but yeah, so, it sounds like you've really doubled down on, making sure that your current customers know who you are and that you're still working, your teams are protected, and that you're still out there trying to acquire new business. Have you changed your strategy in trying to acquire new business?
It's like we talked about it, using my current clients, and continue on business as usual. It's very important. In business, it's a mind game. So once you get defeated, you've defeated yourself and you should just go lay down. I don't think that's a good idea. I think continuing on with the positive mindset is very important. So it's kind of a silly answer, but I'm doubling down on positive mindset, and then also following up on my outstanding proposals is very important. We had a record-setting beginning of the year. I put out 40 proposals in 2 months. So I took all those proposals out and I called every one of them. The ones that I have not heard back from, I asked them, well, let's do some business. Like, what do we need to do to earn your business? And that's helped out tremendously at this point, because a lot of stuff that we do is relational, more than transactional. and it takes a long time to nurture the seeds. So those people, I've already touched them. I've already met them, some of them numerous times. We've already gone over everything. Everything's already set up for what we need to do. So that's really low-hanging fruit is looking at, even if you go back a year, I start out 2 months. Next week I'm going to go back 4 or 5 months.
Yep.
So you just start peeling it back like an onion, and you could really find some low-hanging fruit there. People are missing the mark on that because they are laying down right now. I don't think it's the time to lay down.
No, I would agree wholeheartedly with that. One of the things we're talking to our clients about in the marketing space is now is the time to double down on marketing. We did a lot of research on the 2008, 2009 crash, and what we found is the companies that invested the most in putting themselves out in front of their customers came out the strongest on the other side. It's about two things. One, it's about putting your face out there, making sure people you're the first person people think about when they're ready to do new business. And second of all, I think it allows you to talk to provide a little bit of a strategy shift. So for some of our roofing clients, we've talked to them about focusing more on repair business right now, because people are being a little bit consumers, and homeowners are being a little bit tighter on their funding, and what they're spending on. Instead of always trying to go sell an $8,000 or $9,000 roof, if they have a small leak, let's push that repair business. Let's let people know that you can come in and do a $500 or $600 repair for them for now, because when they're ready to do that roof in a year, 6 months, year, 2 years, whatever it is, now you become that top of mind again for them. So it's in our mind, it's really twofold, right? It's one, it's being out in front of people, and two, it's about what message are you putting out in front of people that's going to be relevant to what's going on today and set you up for the future. So
what I learned about when I went through the Great Recession, because I've been in business since 2004, so I went through that whole fiasco. It's very important to price bracket. So you have price A, price B, price C.
Yep.
Price A, when people don't have, consumers or businesses don't have as much money to spend, good to give them $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 price.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we could do for you for $1,000. This is what we could do for you for $2,000, and this is what we can do for you for $3,000. And what we find is that really helped us, one, get through the Great Recession, and two, we actually made better profit margins on doing smaller projects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we needed to find more of them, but some of the repairs that we did bought them time. It bought them 5-6 years, and then they called us back to do the whole renovation.
Yep.
That they couldn't afford at the time. So we actually made more money from it. So it doesn't just service your clients better and helps them save money at the time. It actually benefits the business owner. And price bracketing is very important when there's a downturn in the economy.
Yep. Yeah.
For higher profit margins, it's a win-win.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic strategy. I want to put a caveat to that, because I think one thing you mentioned is, here's what you get for price A, here's what you get for price B, here's what you get for price C. The key to effective price bracketing like that is not giving your same services for cheaper. It's about bundling the services that make sense in that bracket. So if it's $1,000 worth of work, I'm only giving you $1,000 worth of work. I'm not giving you $2,000 worth of work for $1,000. As soon as you try and cheapen your services to adjust, you've actually ended up cheapening your brand as a whole, and it's harder to recover from that.
It's hard to stay in business, because I was going out there in 2008 really concerned and putting out $100,000 jobs for $50,000, and all that did was bankrupt me. And when you need resources the most, that's the time to be more conservative with what you have. And instead of trying to do what you did before in the before economy, try to adapt to the now economy. I think that's very important in any business or even as an employee.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Valuable.
You constantly need to be adapting and adjusting to what's going on. It's super important. So I want to shift gears a little one more time here, and I want to push to talking a little bit about the future, right? Because obviously, we are going to come out of this, and there's opportunities as businesses for us to come out of this even stronger than we entered it. And so what are you putting on the plate as plans for the future as we start to come out of this?
So one of my strategies is there's two people that I'm going to be targeting. One person is the distressed business owner who is going to go bankrupt. We're going to try to purchase their business from them. And then the second person that we're going to target is purchasing businesses as the first person, but they're more of the people that are aged out, particularly baby boomers, who have an awesome business, and they've just gone through 1980 recession, 1990 recession, 2000 recession, a great recession.
Yeah.
And they're out. And a lot of them can't get out because they never lined a business up to exit. Yep. And so what we're going to help these people exit their business. Of course, there's something in it for us. Why else would we do it? But we're expecting at least to absorb a couple businesses in the next 1 to 2 years, and we're going to do it working with these business owners and versus being a bloodsucker, getting stuff pennies on the dollar. That's not our strategy. Our strategy is going to be that, and then also with my business that I founded, we're going to continue on doing the same thing. See, I keep referring back to 2008. In 2008, I was a commercial contractor, and commercial contracting is strictly economic, based on the economy. There's no other way to explain it. And so after that, I built my whole entire business around as a recession-proof business, and the work is not sexy. It's not sexy at all that we do. A lot of the stuff we do is undesirable work, but it's recession-proof, and this shows that it is because we're still getting work orders. We're still getting contracts. We have contracts lined up. And so sometimes taking a little bit unpleasant work and building yourself up as a recession-proof business really pays off. And I learned that in 2008. Yeah. I didn't want to go down the same road, so I'm going to continue on doing what I'm doing. A lot with the business I founded, but then there's all these different other businesses that I could absorb their accounts and I could absorb their business practices that will make me better. And this is the biggest opportunity. I want to throw this out there. Anybody who knows real estate, during 2009 and 2013, during that time frame, was the best time to buy a house. I mean, people were buying houses in Southwest Florida for $40,000, and then now they're worth $300,000.
Yeah.
Right now, from like 2020 to 2023, we're gonna see a huge opportunity in buying businesses, not houses. In 10 years, people are gonna look back to 2021, 2022, and they're gonna say, "I wish I would have bought that business." They're gonna regret it. It's gonna, just the same thing as the housing crisis. People, I regret it. I'm like, I should have bought 50 of those houses, but I didn't. And we're going through a big opportunity with business and acquiring new businesses and helping people out. I like to say, you want to help people out. You don't want to be a bloodsucker.
Yeah, no, I love that approach. I think I think you hit something on the head with. There's so many. We're going to come out of this, and there's going to be so many of these big investment firms that are going to come in and be the bloodsuckers, and just buy up businesses for pennies on the dollar. And it needs to happen. The turn of business needs to happen, no doubt about it. But if we can if we can take an approach like you're taking and go in and actually help somebody with an exit strategy, help somebody get out from maybe under some debt that they couldn't control during these times, things like that, and really help an individual, I think it builds a completely different message, and you can accomplish a lot of the same things. You know, obviously they have to be smart business decisions. You can't just go help out, you know, everybody that's failing because they're failing, right? But I like your approach of let's go help people exit their businesses in a smart way. And so I really appreciate that. So we are just getting towards the end here, so we will slowly start to wrap up. First and foremost, you know, what is, if you had one piece of advice to give to small business owners to help them get through this, what is that piece of advice?
It's just an old, I think it's the Chinese proverb, you know, it's the journey and not the destination. So right now, all these things that are going on, it's just going to give yourself something to talk about in the future, and it's going to build character. And there's no reason to give up a business or what you love to do because of current affairs. I mean, that's just a ridiculous thing to even think. So I really want people just to stick through this, tighten up what you need to tighten up, you know, and continue on with your business. I don't want people to give up on being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And so it's the journey. Embrace the journey as we go through this. This is a learning experience. Especially, you talked earlier about how a lot of people live paycheck to paycheck, even business owners.
Mm-hmm.
They live disbursement to disbursement, which makes no sense. So take this as a learning experience and become better, and you can become better. You just have to turn a negative into a positive. And that's what I went through, that whole thing, the past 5-6 weeks. It's normal to start doubting what you're doing. You got to work through those things. So that's kind of advice that I want to give to everybody, not just business owners, just everybody in general. And also, when there's something that bad happens, there's always something good happens out of it. So take the bad out of it and put the good into it. Stay positive.
Yeah.
Save your money, you know, and spend your money on wise decisions, and save it, but also spend where you need to spend it. You know, we've talked about this before. This is good advice. A lot of people, they want to, you know, be penny wise and dollar foolish. If you could double down on your marketing for relatively inexpensive costs, because it's not very expensive these days, do it. Especially, we don't know what's going to happen right now in the economy. You want to be forefront, in front of your competition. You don't want to be forgotten about. And so that's advice too, is, you know, go out there, do it wisely, but don't become so frugal and cheap that you're not putting money back into your business. A business is like a little baby. It eats, you know, 12 times a day, and you need to feed it so it grows. If you don't let your business grow, it's just going to die. So really, really keep growing your business. And that's it. You don't need to 10 times your business, but little incremental steps, and keep them going. And do it relatively debt-free. I see a lot of problems, and we're not going to get into other discussions because I know we're wrapping up, but I see a lot of people taking on debt with their business, and that is the enemy of business. You do not want to be in debt in your business. You want it to be cash flowing. You want it to be net positive cash flow, particularly. So that's it.
Yeah. No, I think that is sound advice. It is definitely about the journey, not the destination, though. I don't know about you. I do like to get to the destination because that's usually where I get paid. But you know,
I always have a problem when I get to the destination. I'm always like, oh no, what now? Now I'm here. What do I do? It never ends. It's like, okay, I got here. I've had 10 businesses. I've sold many of them, and then at the end is like, well, maybe maybe I need a new destination and a new journey. So it just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah.
There's no end to it.
Nope. I'm with you. I liken it this way. I am just on a constant layover to a new place. Like, we pause at the airport, enjoy the trip, and hop into the next one. So, I'm totally on board with that. Well, Ian, I really do appreciate your time today. It has been a pleasure. Thank you for all of your knowledge and information today. Where can our viewers find you?
So you can find me on social media, on LinkedIn, IAN VOAKES. You can find me on Facebook, IAN VOAKES. My phone number is 239-785-6644, and my email is vokesconstruction@yahoo.com. So that's basically my contact information. It's public knowledge, so there's nothing that I have to hide.
Awesome. Yeah, no, we appreciate it. Please, if you have not reached out to connect with Ian on either Facebook or LinkedIn, go ahead and do that. He is definitely in the trenches and doing some great things with his businesses. And so, great person to connect with. Ian and I have connected through our LinkedIn local here in Fort Myers. And so, it's been a pleasure getting to know him over time. Ian, I really do appreciate your time today. It has been fun. Thank you so much for your information and your knowledge and sharing what you've learned in business to our Winning Tactics viewers. So have a great afternoon, and we will chat soon.
Thank you for having me.